Hollywood actress Maureen O'Hara, fiction starring films with John Wayne. She's also laid to rest in Section 2. With her husband, who was an Air Force Brigadier General. If any of you folks have ever had a Westinghouse appliance, George Westinghouse is buried in Section 2 as well. Not only a pioneer with electrical appliances, but also a veteran of the American Civil War. We have two 5-star fleet admirals from the Second World War laid to rest in Section 2, Admiral William Halsey and Admiral William Leahy, as well as Major Charles Pierre Font, who fought in the American Revolution and later laid out the original plan of the city of Washington, D.C. Coming up on the passenger side, we're going to pass by a tall hill that has 4 large oversized markers at the top. This is Chaplain's Hill, memorializes chaplains from all major denominations and all branches of the service from our conflicts in the 20th and 21st centuries. On the driver's side of the vehicle, down the road a little ways, there's a large red stone gate. That is the McClellan Gate, original gate of the cemetery from the 1870s, named after Major General George B. McClellan, a Union general from the Civil War. On the passenger side, we're passing by Section 7, the final resting place of the only Nobel laureate buried here in Arlington, General George C. Marshall. He was Chief of Staff of the Army during the Second World War, later author of the Marshall Plan for rebuilding Europe after the war, for which he won a Nobel Peace Prize. On the driver's side of the vehicle, we'll pass by Section 12. In Section 12, you can find Sergeant Michael Strank, one of the Marines that raised the flag during the Battle of Iwo Jima. Another notable Marine from the Second World War coming up on the driver's side. We're going to be passing by 3 large trees right in a row, right by the roadside. This is the first tree right here. Behind the third tree, look for the large gray marker. A row behind that, and to the right, look for the government issue marker that says New Jersey on the back. Gunnery Sergeant John Bassalone, First Medal of Honor recipient from the Second World War, for his actions in the Battle of Guadalcanal. Coming up on the passenger side, right in the front row, we're going to see a tall, dark gray marker with silver aviator wings for Lieutenant Commander Barbara Allen Rainey, first female pilot in our Navy. On the passenger side now is Section 6. In Section 6, you can find Lieutenant General John A. Lejeune. Known as the Marines Marine, or the greatest of all leathernecks, he was the 13th Commandant of the Marine Corps. Camp Lejeune, North Carolina is named in his honor. That's all a little bit ironic when you consider he originally wanted to be part of the Army. He was accepted at West Point, but they didn't have room for him, so he ended up attending the Naval Academy at Annapolis, served for 2 years in the Navy, and then transferred to the Marine Corps. On the driver's side of the vehicle in Section 10, you can find Lieutenant Ollie Josephine Bennett. During the First World War, Lieutenant Bennett became the first female doctor commissioned by the United States Army. She wasn't just a doctor, she was also a surgeon. Very rare to have a female doctor at the time of the First World War. Even more rare to have a female surgeon at that time. We're going to be passing through an intersection. I'll direct your attention off the driver's side once more. On the far side of the intersection, that's where we see the construction going on the driver's side. You're going to see a large octagonal stone memorial for the USS Serpent. The Serpent was a Coast Guard ammunition ship that exploded off the coast of Guadalcanal in January 1945, taking with it the lives of 250 service members now buried under and around that memorial. On the passenger side of the vehicle is Section 3. Near the top of the hill, you can probably see a mausoleum. We only have 2 mausoleums here in Arlington. This one is for Major General Nelson Miles, a Union general from the Civil War that oversaw the captivity of Confederate President Jefferson Davis after the war at Fort Monroe in Hampton, Virginia. Later became the first military governor of the island of Puerto Rico. In front of the vehicle, slightly to the driver's side, at the top of the hill we're going up right now, there's a clearing ringed by evergreen trees. In the middle of the clearing, there's a blue spruce tree. That is the World War I memorial tree. In front of the memorial tree, 2 government issue markers. The one further from us is General of the Army John J. Pershing, highest ranking officer buried here at Arlington, highest ranking officer in American military history. He commanded the American Expeditionary Forces during the First World War. After that conflict, he was given the rank General of the Armies, roughly equivalent to a 6-star general at a time when we hadn't had 5-star generals yet. He had command of every branch of the armed forces, the Army, the Navy, the Coast Guard, and the Marine Corps. The only other person to be given the rank General of the Armies, George Washington, granted that rank ceremonially in 1976 during the bicentennial. Well, this is going to be our stop for General Pershing's gravesite. Is anybody interested in getting off here? Going once? Going twice? Alright, we're going to head up to the memorial amphitheater where the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier is located. As we're heading out, on the driver's side is Section 18. Section 18 largely made up of General Pershing's doughboys from the First World War. Many of these young men were originally buried in the fields of France during the war, but a letter-writing campaign from their families said we can't afford to visit our loved ones' graves in France. Could they please be relocated closer to home? As a result, many of these young men were reinterred here at Arlington in the 1920s. Among them you can find Corporal John Pruitt. He received 2 medals of honor for the same action during the Battle of Mont Ridge, part of the New Sargon offensive at the end of the First World War. The day after that heroic action, Corporal Pruitt was killed in an artillery barrage on his 22nd birthday. The New Sargon offensive remains the bloodiest campaign of the of the First World War. On the driver's side of the vehicle, you'll see the back wall of the cemetery, a grove of evergreen trees with a large stone cross. That is the Argonne Cross, commemorating Americans that fought and died in the Argonne Forest at the end of the First World War. On the passenger side of the vehicle, we're passing by. We're going to be pointing out, finalizing in place of one of the roughly 24 astronauts that will be laid to rest here at Arlington. About 6-7 rows back, a tall dark mucker with silver aviator wings named Conrad, Apollo 12 astronaut Conrad, third man to walk on the moon. Remember the Gemini, Apollo, and Skylab programs, a very accomplished astronaut. Our next stop is going to be the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. The Tomb of the Unknown Soldier contains 4 crypts. One for an unknown soldier of the First World War, one for the Second World War, one for Korea, and one for Vietnam. The Tomb of the Unknown Soldier of Vietnam is currently empty. The remains formerly housed there were identified through DNA in the 1990s as those of Air Force First Lieutenant Michael Blasey. He was reinterred at Jefferson Parish National Cemetery near St. Louis at his family's request. The tomb is guarded 24 hours a day, 365 days a year in all weather conditions by sentinels from the elite 3rd Infantry Regiment, also known as the Old